I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, I'd like to introduce you to a wonderful author. His name is James Lyon, and he has written a terrific book. It is called The Lonely Dragon. The story is set against a mountainous backdrop where a wealthy yet sad dragon resides in a cave, surrounded by vast riches, but devoid of companionship. Below, in a struggling village, lives a curious young boy named Olin, who learns of the dragon's hoarding of the village's wealth, causing widespread poverty. Braving his fears, Olin embarks on a quest to confront the dragon, leading to an unexpected and heartwarming discovery. Friendship can be more precious than gold. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. James, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate it.
The honor is all mine. This book is great. It feels like an instant classic. What was your inspiration? How did you come up with such a unique story?
Well, that's kind of a tough question. I don't know. The idea just sort of kind of came to me. I grew up reading a lot of books. I always had my nose in books and was reading everything I could. And I did like, uh, fantasy a lot. Also, The Hobbit, of course, was one of my favorite books growing up.
Mhm.
So I've always had an affection for that kind of stuff. But the idea itself, it just sort of popped into my brain one day, and I guess maybe in my subconscious, it was, kind of boiling around in there. But
Mhm.
when it did, I thought, well, that's just such a great story that, I'd love to share it. And so, I've got two twin boys that are 6, and thought that'd be a great story for them to hear. And what better way than to have it on a book that I could read it to them.
Awesome. What was their reaction when you cracked open the book and Daddy's name's on the cover and you're reading the story?
Well, so it's actually, we just published a little over a week ago,
Mhm.
and I actually haven't received a copy myself. I'm going to give it to him for Christmas. I'm kind of holding off for that, give it to him as a Christmas gift, and I'm excited to see what they think about it.
That
But
sounds good. Yeah, you don't want to give a 6-year-old a manuscript. You want to give them the finished book. That's for sure.
yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely. The story of the Lonely Dragon tells a great moral for children. Is that what you were hoping to convey to children, that relationships really are what matter in life?
Yeah, I think so. I think, in today's world, there's just such a drive for, success and power and money that, a lot of times we kind of forget to stop and smell the roses, so to speak. And really what is important in life are our relationships and friendships and family and community. All those things really are, at the end of the day, more important than money itself. So.
Mhm. Absolutely. The illustrations in the book are wonderful as well. Tell us about how you went about getting that work done.
Yeah, so I hired a company to do those for me,
Mhm.
illustration company, and they did a really great job, fantastic job. I love the illustrations on it. Yeah, it was just through a company that does that. So
So you basically give them direction, tell them what you want depicted in each scene, in each picture, and they execute it, and you give it the thumbs up and the thumbs down, right?
right, yeah, it definitely took a while. There's a lot of going back and forth. They would send me a rough draft or an idea after I kind of gave them the different scenes that I wanted,
Mhm.
and they would just send one to me, and I would, tweak it a little bit or say, looks good, let's go on to the next one. So yeah, there was definitely back and forth, and it was a process and took a while.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Tell me a little bit about your life in South Carolina. Has that influenced your writing style and what you write about at all?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I grew up in Southern California, near LA, which was always just a real fast paced, always going kind of lifestyle around there. And now I'm more out in the country area a little bit. Things have slowed, or definitely a little bit slower, and more time, I guess, to kind of stop and think and enjoy the outdoors and appreciate, some of the, more natural type aspects. So yeah, I think it probably helped me just in general slowing down as a person.
Hmm.
I think so. Yeah, more time to reflect and think, that kind of thing.
Contemplate on what's important in life and have some time to write, of course, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you ever envisioned The Lonely Dragon perhaps as an animated feature?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great to see it as a cartoon that kids could watch or animated cartoon kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be very
Um,
cool to see your life taken, your work taken from the pages and brought to life on a screen. I think that'd be very, very exciting. Plus the collaboration with the other artists and professionals, from the director to the producers to the storytellers to the animators. I think it'd be a fascinating process. So, Hollywood, if you're listening, this is a great story. It's an instant classic, The Lonely Dragon. It's about a rich dragon who really doesn't have very much because he doesn't have any friends until he finds one in a young boy. It is a great story. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Jack and the Beanstalk. It has that kind of classic feel to it. That's for sure. Was this your first time trying your hand at writing?
it is. It's the first book that I've written and published, so yeah, it is my first time, and I've got a lot of other ideas that again are kind of just in my brain that are I'd like to put down on paper and create more. Some expand on some of the characters in this book and introduce new characters. So there's a lot of ideas out there that eventually I hope to continue writing some more books.
And you've got your built-in market research there with your two 6 year olds, so you can
Yeah.
practice at bedtime telling them stories and see what they react to. Is that a little bit of what you do?
Yeah, exactly. I think they're probably the best critics out there. They're gonna tell me exactly what they think when they hear, and they're not gonna hold back anything. So
Yeah. I used to have a story I told to my children at bedtime. It always began one day, Logan, Devin, and Jillian were supposed to be sleeping, but unbeknownst to Daddy, they got up in the middle of the night and decided to explore the woods next door. And it was always a morality tale of how they had not listened to Dad, how they shouldn't have ventured out to the woods, and that kind of thing. Do you do a similar type of formula with your kids when you're telling them a story?
uh no, not really. I mean, they do like to read a book every night, so we do sit down and before bed read a book. But I haven't gotten into anything like that with them yet.
Okay. You don't want to scare them about the woods. If you live in the country, don't scare them about the woods anyway. If you have
Yeah,
coyotes howling near your house, you don't want to tell them that those coyotes might come knocking at the door, right?
yeah, they think werewolves are real, so we're trying to work through that.
You mean werewolves aren't real? No, I'm only kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, they could be.
Well, you must have had a real fun time writing the book. How long did it take you to write it?
And again, the book writing itself, just like the idea kind of came in a flash. Writing it as soon as I had the idea, it didn't take very long. I was just basically I wanted to try to get it down onto paper, and the idea itself was already there. It was just translating it onto paper. So it didn't take quite that long as you might imagine. It was just getting it onto the paper and writing it down. So
Well,
not
that's
too
great. I mean,
long.
I think those are the best projects where you have some inspiration, you have an idea, and it just flows.
It did. It
And
just flowed.
yeah, you don't need
Yeah.
to dig it out of your brain. It's there. You had the premise for the story, and it's a great story. Again, the name of the book is The Lonely Dragon, is written by James Lyon. It's a story of a dragon that lives in the mountains. He resides in a cave. He's rich beyond your imagination, but he's lonely. He doesn't have any companionship. A boy down in the village where all the poorer people live because they've been kind of robbed of their wealth goes and meets up with the dragon, and unexpected things happen. Wonderful things happen. James, thanks so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
The honor is all mine, sir. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time until next time on Spotlight.